Welcome to Peter and Ruffy's football show here on STV2. The main talking points on tonight's programme. UEFA windfall for Scottish Premiership clubs. Business as usual for Hamilton Accies. FA apologises to 2 women players. Yeah, just a few of the topics we'll be discussing. Alan Ruff is alongside me, Peter Martin. And as ever, on a Wednesday, our bookroom guest is the former Rangers and Scotland international Barry Ferguson. And we've got lots to talk about. Of course, we're not too far away, Ruffy, from the start of Bayern Munich against Celtic. We will reflect on it on tomorrow night's programme. But needless to say, it's a tall order. If they come out of there with anything, suddenly, Celtic fans will start believing.
Yeah, I think it has to be a wee bit better in the Paris game. I thought they were a quality side, obviously, but I thought they got their goals very, very easy. And I think, obviously, Brendan Rodgers have been worked on that. Obviously, it's another blow. Simonovic been out, and the defence has sort of moved a wee bit. But yeah, I would like to see them get out and I know, putting in a real performance, and not just sitting back and waiting for the inevitable, because I think obviously this team is a quality side, but Celtic have got players that can hurt you.
Yep, okay, here's how the back pages look on most of the tabloids. The Daily Record, go play the Celtic way, which was basically Brendan Rodgers suggesting that they are going to try and get goals there in the Allianz Arena. And the other little sidebar there, you're a joke. This is, of course, Kenny Miller's agent, Dave Baldwin, has had a blast at Rangers and their manager. The Sun, and again, jumping at him and play on words on Jupp Heynckes, the Bayern Munich coach. And Kenny's no rat, but Gers hung him out to dry, is the claim from Kenny Miller's agent. And the Daily Mail, once again, play our way, reference to Celtic, and there's a great picture there of Harry Kane and Cristiano Ronaldo after that fabulous 1-1 draw for Tottenham in the Bernabeu against Real Madrid. And the Press and Journal, and Derek McInnes glowing in his praise of Gary Arneson. Now he's settled in at Aberdeen. And there's also a great picture there of Firmino as Liverpool romped to a 7-0 win over NK Maribor. So, that's a few of the back page headlines. I just wonder, I know there is a man cave that every guy or girl has, even a woman cave where they go in and just get away from it all. You've got that man cave as well, Barry, to watch a game last night. I plumped for Tottenham Real Madrid. What did you go for?
I was the same. I watched it, and what a game it was. End-to-end stuff. So open. It was really open. I was surprised, but I thought Tottenham were different class. The record that Real Madrid have got there, I was listening to them last night. I think the last time they lost a game there was 2008 or 2009 against AC Milan. So for Tottenham to go there and get a point, I mean, I thought they even deserved the 3 points, because they missed a couple of chances as well.
Yeah, could have nicked it at the end.
They could have. And one fell to Harry Kane, who's been in unbelievable form. You would think he would have stuck it away, but no, I thought Tottenham were different class. They're a great team to watch. Yeah,
there's even murmurings of Maurizio Pochettino being a Real Madrid manager of the future. His stock is rising. I don't know about you, Ruffy. I looked at them last night. I mean, they've got quality all over the park. I don't know if there's, is there anything missing that could push them on to the next level of trying to finally get to the holy grail of winning the English Premier League?
Well, I think unfortunately, Man City and Man United have got the money to back anything that they do. I don't think the owners come out with the big bucks yet. I mean, he has obviously brought quality players to Tottenham, but it was good to see Tottenham coming out. I think sometimes we go and play these teams and we talk them up too much. Rightfully, they are magnificent sides, but I think sometimes you give them too much respect. Tottenham didn't do that. They went out and they just gave everything they got, and it was good to watch.
Yeah, is he world class for you yet, or is he getting close to it? Ruffy's not having it unless you do it at the absolute top level, Barry.
Well, the Champions League is the absolute top level. Same international, he scored a lot of goals. He's getting there. He's not there yet. You've got to prove yourself over a number of years, but he's certainly got the attributes to be one of the top. But bearing in mind with Tottenham last night, they were missing some certain starters as well, Dele Alli and Dembele. they've still got to come into the team. So they're missing quality players still to come in. So it was a fantastic result and performance.
Yeah, and Barry's talking about the front end of the park. At the back end, I mean, Lloris produced not 1, 2, 3 top drawer saves. Navas equally so at the other end.
Yeah, but he'd been like that all year, you know. I mean, that's what happened. I think everybody is more aware now. You've got to have a world-class goalkeeper. You've got to have the goalkeeper who makes the big saves in these big games, and certainly he did. But he's been doing it in the league as well. He's just fantastic.
Yeah, here's the results from last night's fixtures in the Champions League, and we were talking about the 1-1 for Real Madrid, but look at that. Liverpool 7-0 against NK Maribor. Spartak Moscow handing Seville a 5-1 hiding as well, and Shakhtar Donetsk getting a win in Rotterdam against Feyenoord, and Manchester City continuing on their merry way with a hard-fought 2-1 win over Napoli. And there's confirmation of, well, I always say, Ruffy, if you sell £300 million worth of players, you're eventually going to lose at home regularly. Monaco defeated by Besiktas. Leipzig edged a 5-goal thriller against Porto. And confirmation of 2 draws in Group H between Apoel Nicosia and Borussia Dortmund, and Real Madrid and Tottenham. And I have to say, just looking at the results from last night, you know, Ronaldo, he's absolutely top drawer, but I've never met a boy who I'm almost certain he's aware that the cameras are on him, because he poses, postures, chats away, you know, as if everybody's looking at him. He's unbelievable. I mean, he was even caught singing the Champions League theme, which takes some going, because it's, you know, most of the words on it are, you know, from opera.
Well, he's allowed to do that, and look what he's done. Look what he's done in the game. He's been phenomenal over the last 10 years, and his goal scoring record. I mean, they were going through it last night again when I was watching it, and the amount of goals the guy scores, so no, he can go and do whatever he wants for what he's achieved in the game. Yeah,
and he was never going to miss the penalty, Ruffy, to be honest with
you. No, I mean, he's got full confidence in himself. You know, you can see as soon as he picks the ball up, he knows exactly what he's going to do. I mean, I don't even know if he does any research on goalkeepers he comes up against, but he gets so much confidence in his own ability. I mean, he strikes the ball so well.
Yeah, I have to say, Jupp Heynckes, over the last 24 hours, when they were talking about, obviously, the game coming up against Celtic, he was glowing in his praise of, you know, his 50 years of experience of European football. He's played against Scottish clubs. He's come up against the likes of Celtic and Rangers, Aberdeen, Dundee United, even as a coach as well. And he mentioned that, you know, football is so crazy now that it's making any kind of success for you know, Scottish clubs in Europe so difficult now, and for many other clubs that he highlighted too.
Yeah, well, it's obviously difficult for Scottish clubs because of the finances. The TV money is one. We don't get a lot of money up here, but come back, I think if Celtic go over, they've got nothing to lose over here. They're expected to get beat. A lot of people are fancying Bayern Munich to win easily. So the pressure for me is off Celtic, so they can go and play their own game and have a go at them. And
do you think anybody will ever get bored, though, on the point he's making, Barry, with regards to, you know, I'm looking at the finals, you know, Real Madrid, Atletico at one point, you know, you thought they had control of the Champions League final, but you're talking about a clutch of, what, 6 to 8 teams that potentially could get to the final. I don't see anybody coming out of left field.
No, I totally agree with you, and it's the backers as well. It's the people who own the clubs, it's billionaires, so I don't see that changing any time soon, if I'm being honest with you.
It's like 3 years ago, the teams that were coming out of the pack were Paris Saint-Germain, but now they're one of the pack.
Yeah.
With the money, like 3 years ago, they were a team that used to sneak into the last 8, but now they're up there with whoever, you know, in the money stakes, so they are now one of the top 6.
But the money in the game, it's crazy.
Yeah.
The amount of money they splash out in transfer fees and wages. And as you says, it's the same 6, 7, 8 teams for me it's going to be over the next 3, 4, 5 years.
Well, you look at it now, if Kevin De Bruyne is one of the top midfielders in the Premier League in England, and consider that in Europe as well, he hasn't signed a new deal. I mean, what sort of money will he be looking to command if everybody's looking? I mean, his performance against Stoke was outrageous.
Yeah, but what I liked, I seen Guardiola's interview and they were putting him up against Messi. He's nowhere near that just yet, but he's certainly got the potential to to be up there in the next couple of years. He's another one that needs to produce it year in, year out before he can be in that bracket of your Ronaldos and Messis, but he's certainly got the ability.
Yeah, I mean, is he top 10 for you, Ruffy?
Yeah, he is. But just to get back to the thing, I disagreed with you that the top 12 would-be money teams are now looking about doing their own tournament. I agree with you now. And if you look at these results, you know, the big teams, hammering teams, you know, I think there's going to be a time when they're going to say, right, he's only really good enough, he's can't keep up with us, you know, we're fed up beating these 5-0, 6-0, we're just going to go away and have another bigger league ourselves.
Yeah, absolutely. Stick with me, Ruffy. I mean, if we agree, we could have a long partnership, you know. If you just have a wee listen to me every now and then, and we'll see where we go with it. Okay, after the break, we're going to talk about a windfall for Scottish Premiership clubs from Celtic's exploits in European football. We'll talk about that. We'll also hear from Martin Canning, Jimmy Nicholl as well. And it's all coming up after this quick question and a quick break. Cristiano Ronaldo. There was a great line from the commentator last night, Ruffy, when he said, you know, the Spanish press had the headline at the weekend, the drought is over, he'd gone 3 games without scoring a goal. And I thought, talk about pressure.
I thought you were going to say he'd gone 3 games without a hat-trick.
I mean, that's outrageous, isn't it? I mean, both of them actually set new levels that I wonder if anybody could actually replicate it.
I don't think so. There's nobody about him and Messi. You know, I mean, you get Lewandowski scoring in Germany, but not at the level that they're scoring at. But yep. No, not for me.
Okay, there's good news for Scottish clubs because Celtic's involvement in the Champions League last season has brought about a £4 million windfall, which is split among the clubs who were in the Premiership in Scotland, and I think it's around about £370,000. Now you might think to yourself, not a lot of money, but a lot of money for some clubs. It's the, you know, in the budget in some cases can just keep you nicely ticking over the summer. Yeah,
I thought straight away teams like Hamilton Accies and Partick Thistle certainly just under £400,000 will certainly help them in their budgets and maybe been able to strengthen in the January window. Yeah, you just wonder, Ruffy, you know, as we do indeed get stronger, hopefully start to develop more and more homegrown players. I mean, realistically, the gauge for us is to see if we can get a second club either into, you know, Champions League again, or indeed into Europa League group stage. That would be a measure of us heading back in the right direction. Yeah, I think it'd be great if more clubs could go into Europe. And Barry, I'll tell you more than me. He's played in Europe more than me. But when you come up against teams from Europe, the benefit you get from it, you know, playing against better players, and you go away and you play against a good team, really good team, good players, then you come back to your own domestic level and you're oozing with confidence. You just want to enjoy it, you know, and learn, pick up everything you've learned for the games that you played, and you get a better player. Yeah, my only problem with this whole situation is that's a certain amount of money for the clubs, Barry, but Celtic are banking a colossal amount of money, and that makes it even more difficult to try and bridge that gap. That's 2 or 3 years now of big games, big receipts. Well, the money in the Champions League is phenomenal now, and I think it's only going to make Celtic stronger. They've not went out and spent a lot, yeah. So I would gather that they're banking that, making a lot of money, and I think when the time's right at the right player, they could go out and spend £6-7 million on a player, yeah, easily. But the money they've made certainly over the last 2 or 3 years has been massive, and as you says, that's the problem. The gap gets bigger and bigger, and it makes it harder for the rest of them to try and bridge that gap. Well, as you know, being a Rangers player, you know, a story can start one week and then grow arms and legs all the way through the week. We were talking about Kenny Miller last week and his future and this bust-up and Kenny playing with the development squad. Now we've got his agent who's had a real go at not only the club, but I think Pedro Caixinha as well, in the treatment to Kenny Miller. Basically,
you know, the conduct. He feels as Dave Baldwin, his agent, is. He feels as if he's just been hung out to dry, almost made to look like a, you know, I hate to use this word, the rat in this whole situation. And he's having talks with the club to try and resolve it. But, you know, right now, Kenny's nowhere near that first team.
No, let's be honest, the agent's come out, it's a direct go at the manager.
Yeah.
It's not just at the club, I think it's a direct go at the manager. Now, I thought it was finished with last week when you seen Kenny coming back in training with the first team, but there's obviously a problem there. And the problem needs to get sorted, and people need to know whether Kenny's going to get back in a Rangers jersey or he's not. For me, with the comments now coming out from the agent, it looks to me that come the January transfer window, Kenny won't be there.
Yeah, I mean, do you think his career is at that point now where there's no way back?
Well, the agent's come out and it's strong words. He's not minced about what he said. So I do see that being a problem. There's obviously a problem between Kenny and the manager. It's easy for everybody to see. It disappoints me. I don't like the words that are getting used about Kenny because, as I've said previously on the show, he's not that type of guy. He speaks his mind, but he would do it in a proper manner. He wouldn't. It would to be trying to help the team, not to go against anybody, whether it be the manager or any of his teammates. But now that the agent's come out and been pretty strong in what he said, I find that it's going to be difficult for Kenny to come back.
I think the manager's backed himself into a corner with Kenny because I don't think he's in a strong enough position to test who's going to come out the winner in this one. If he was to fling Kenny into that first 11 and Kenny goes onto that park and the supporters let him know which side they're taking, you know, it's not going to look good. You know, if it turns out in Kenny Miller's side and they're against him.
I've also seen a few of the fans saying maybe because of the way he's playing. Kenny will know. Kenny's experienced enough and honest enough to admit that he's not had a great start to the season. But I still think he's an important player for Rangers. Whether that be, if he's not starting, being in and around the dressing room, on the bench, his experience, he's knowing how to play, knowing what it takes to play at Rangers. And I just find it strange what's going on. I honestly couldn't tell you.
But the problem I have with it, and this is something that I think the agent has mentioned as well, just by the actions of the last couple of weeks and him being ostracised, it left it open to you're the culprit. That was the first thing. So you've left it wide open to everybody to look at it and say, well, 2 and 2 makes 4 here. It's you. You're the leak. And he's also mentioned, Dave Baldwin said, it's trashed Kenny's reputation.
Yeah, which is sad. I think. I mean, I'm just speaking from my experience. My experiences, knowing Kenny and playing with Kenny. And I'm not sitting here because he was a good teammate and I know him pretty well. But I don't speak to him every single day. I don't speak to him every single week. But he ain't that type of guy. I can tell you that right now. And I said that on the programme before. When this came out, I was 100% certain that Kenny wasn't the person who would come out and say anything.
Do you think his reputation has been trashed by this?
Yeah, it's not looking good. It's certainly not looking good on Kenny at this moment in time. But once it all settles down a bit, I think there'll be a stage where Kenny will be able to say his piece. But now Kenny's doing the right thing for me. He's staying away from it. He's getting his head down and working hard in training and getting sent away to play with the 20s and that. He's not complaining. So he's doing it in the right manner for me just now.
There are 2 points on this which I think are pertinent to the whole case. One of them is, if Rangers keep winning, it doesn't matter. The manager's absolutely bomb-proof. If Rangers keep winning, his decisions, whether there's an argument in the background or not, he can decide Kenny's just not playing for me at this point. As long as they keep winning, the fans turn, Ruffy, when there's an imbalance. When you've left them out, the team's losing, and you're having a row with them.
I don't think it'll make a difference just now because they've won 2 games. They've beat Hamilton pretty convincingly. They've went up to McDermott Park, which is a hard place to go. They've beat them, albeit they played really well as well. So it's not seen as a bit of a problem, as you say, if it starts to turn results-wise. then it becomes a bigger problem. But just now, they need to get it settled. People need to know what's going on, because it's dragging on for me now far too long. That's been, what, 2 or 3 weeks?
The other problem here, and it was picking up on the point that you made there, Kenny knows he hasn't had a great start to the season. He's not the worst player in that team. He's not the one that I would have looked at and said, you are the scapegoat for what's gone on before, Ruffy. There's 3 or 4 in front of him.
No, but the reason that Kenny got the other year was continuous seeing him as the person, as Mary said there, somebody you want about the dressing room, somebody you want with the younger players, the experience that he's got, you know, coming off the bench, he's as fit as a fiddle. You know, that can't just turn in 2 months, you know, and go the other way. You can't be saying, oh, he's not included because he's not fit, and he is fit. You know, you can't get away with that. You know, and the whole thing, the unfortunate thing for me is the turning point with the supporters. He's too good a player and too good a servant to be at a club to have somebody turning everything on its head to make him look something that he's not.
That's the Ruffy's spot on there. That's the thing that has crossed my mind. You don't want Kenny, whatever happens, leaving with this on his back. You don't want that, and he wouldn't want that. And I think a lot of people who know him, because he's been a great servant for Rangers. He's done, especially last season for me, he was the main player at Rangers. This season, it's been a difficult season for him in terms of the way he's performed, but he'll get that form back. But I just, now with the agent coming out and saying that, I can't see him coming back unless they all sit around the table and come to some sort of solution. It's looking that his Rangers career might be coming to an end, and you don't want to see that, as I said, because he's done some great things for Rangers over the years.
Yeah, it would be a sad end, Ruff, to you know, a sterling career. I think he's not the type of guy that, I mean, he might, you never know, he might even think, oh, I'll have another year somewhere else, but I don't know.
No, I think he's been at Rangers that long. You know, you don't want to leave, as Barry said, with that hanging over you. You know, I mean, Rangers are a massive club. They've got a massive support. He's got to carry on his life. There will be a lot of Rangers supporters out there, and I'm sure he would want to be remembered for all the good things rather than somebody coming up to him saying, oh, you were this or that.
Yeah.
You want to remember him for the football on the part and what he's done for the club.
Yep, okay. Coming up after the break, Kenny Miller would love to be involved in the Betfred League Cup semi-final. Whether he is or not is open to debate, but we're going to get Barry Ferguson's thoughts on both semi-finals, Hibernian against Celtic and his old team Rangers against Motherwell in the Hampden semi-final. Ruffy, you dragged that answer out. It was absolutely sensational from you. The only thing is that I was slightly worried about is you had him as a French guy and then a Yugoslav, and then eventually you managed to drag his name from somewhere in the back of your mind. I mean, yeah. I can't actually remember it. It was one of those. It was one of those goals. It wasn't a clear cut one. It kind of just trickled in. Do you remember it?
I couldn't even get the goal scorer, so I'm in trouble. No, he was a fine player.
Yeah, he was a good player actually. He went to Everton. Very
good player, and moved to a couple of clubs. When he moved to Everton, I think he moved on to, was it Hull City he went to?
Yep.
After that. So, no, he was a very good striker for Rangers.
Yep, and scored the winning goal in the, I think it was the 98th minute into extra time for that one. Well done to you, Ruffy, on that. And of course, League Cup semi-finals will dominate our build-up to the weekend. Saturday, the 12:15 kick-off is Hibernian against Celtic. And on the Sunday, it's Motherwell against Rangers. And while we're talking about Rangers, we might as well get your thoughts on this one, because it's, you know, there's no point in saying every game is a, you know, he's on a knife edge. He knows that anyway. You know, you're only one game away from a crisis at either half of the Old Firm. So he's got a game, semi-final, but it's against a Motherwell side who have a good run of form.
Yeah, I've said it plenty of times. I watched Motherwell at the start of the season. I wasn't too sure about them, but as the seasons went on, they've impressed me. They play a certain system that suits all the players in their squad. So it'll be difficult. I think it'll be a close game. It'll be a difficult game for Rangers, but listen, at the end, the carrot dangling in front, you've got a final to get to, and Rangers need to get to finals, and I think they'll get there, but it'll be a close game. I think they'll nick it by a goal or two.
Yeah, and the other thing about it, Ruffy, doesn't matter which way it twists, if they do get to the final, you know, suddenly you've got the mouth-watering prospect of, you know, Rangers against Celtic, or indeed a rerun of the cup final, which I presume some people think they need like a hole in the head. Rangers against Hibernian.
No, but I think Rangers just need a final. I think the supporters just need a final. They need to go along there with high hopes on the day. I think they have got a wee bit advantage over Motherwell on this one with the support. You know, I think it's, what is it,
38,000.
38,000. That's a home game. You know, so you would like to think the Rangers players would be able to respond to that on the day. And the only worry for me with Motherwell, and not just Motherwell, but a lot of clubs when they get to semi-finals, sometimes they get hammed in the freeze. You know, that I know they're on a winning run, there's no doubt about that, but when you go into an occasion and the pressure's on the line, it's a semi-final, you've never been to a final before, that's when you have to up your game, you know, and I really hope they do. I hope they make it a spectacle, because I think both teams, if they have a go at each other, it could be a good game.
Yeah, I understand where you're coming from with regards to the edge with the Rangers fans being there in great numbers. The only thing that was echoing in my head is I've yet to see a fan score a goal, you know, whether they've got 38,000 or not. I always think it's down to the players and the mentality and the psychology of it all. You've got a Motherwell team that have got a goal scorer. And this is the brilliant element of this. You've got, you know, Morelos, who can score goals. People are looking at him, seeing what he's doing. You've got other players that are suddenly coming to the fore. Peña's scored a couple of goals in the last game. You've got a lovely mix now of two teams going into it with a bit of confidence.
It was a perfect perfect game to showcase your talents.
Yeah.
It's going to be live on TV. It's at the National Stadium, sellout. I think Motherwell still to sell maybe a couple of thousand, but it's going to be a sellout. So it's a type of game that you said that a Moult or a Morelos want to play in and show that they can handle big occasions. Because semi-final, they're saying playing in front of 52,000. That's the games that you want to play in, and that's the games that you want to show that you can handle the occasion, you can handle the big game mentality. So I'm looking forward to it. Both teams are on, well, certainly Motherwell are on. Rangers have had two very good away victories. But as I said, I still think Rangers will be too strong for Motherwell.
Yeah, and with regards to Motherwell, earlier today I caught up with a Motherwell fan who actually, Andy Ross, gets involved in the Motherwell podcast, and first of all asked him about the confidence in the Motherwell camp as far as the fans are concerned.
It's been 6 years since our last game at Hampden, the Scottish Cup final in 2011, which was obviously very disappointing. So we're excited. I think first and foremost, cup success has evaded us for too long, but the team have made a great start to the season, so we're really looking forward to this one.
Yeah, I've got to ask you, Andy, as a Motherwell fan, have you been surprised by the start to the season? Because even now, I look at the last 8 games, 6 wins out of the last 8.
Yeah, Stephen Robinson's done a fantastic job, and I must confess, in our podcast, at the tail end of last season, I wasn't 100% convinced. He's brought in so many new faces to the team as well, which you would expect there to be a period of transition, but that hasn't been the case. They've hit the ground running, and yeah, it's been fantastic. We're delighted.
Yeah, if you're going to win the game against Rangers, you're going to have to look to the special players who've produced so far. Who's impressed you in that Motherwell lineup?
Well, there's obviously one key standout in Louis Moult, who is a talisman. He has been for the last couple of seasons. The difference is this season he's got good players playing alongside him as well, or better players. So I think he'll really flourish. He doesn't seem like a guy that will be overawed by the occasion on Saturday. Sunday even. You've then got Chris Cadden, Peter Hartley, who's come in from Blackpool and replaced Ben Hennigan seamlessly. He seems like an upgrade in Ben Hennigan, which is great considering the money we got for Ben. Yeah, there's a lot of good players in that team. So I don't see why we can't go toe-to-toe with Rangers and beat them.
Yeah, and talking of the opposition, Andy, is there anyone in that Rangers lineup that you should fear?
I've only seen them once this season, to be fair. I did catch a bit of the St Johnstone game, and I thought that for all it was a very impressive result. I don't know how good a performance it was. Morelos is clearly a threat up front. Graham Dorrans is a good established player, but no, I think if we concentrate on ourselves, then that's the problem. We've played Rangers, the big established team, so many times rather than actually playing the 11 on the park. So I think concentrating ourselves first and foremost.
Well, here it is then. Give me your prediction for the game.
I've had many daydreams about this over the course of the week so far. I'm going to go for a 2-1 victory. Louis Moult and then a Peter Hartley header in the last minute to send us through to Hampden. Delirious.
that'll shoot your nerves up through the roof, I can tell you. But listen, thanks for joining us and good luck at the Hampden semi-final.
It's a pleasure. Thank you.
Yeah, Andy Ross. Well, confidence you can sense from Andy, echoing the sentiments of many a Motherwell fan. I'm not too sure too many of them will handle 89 minutes before the winner.
No, I'm sure if you've won 6 games out of 8, you know you're going to go with confidence. But you're also going to know it's a big game. I think they'll have to come right up with the right line-up, right tactics for the game. But they've got players in there that can score goals, and that's why they are where they are. But I just think it's the occasion thing. I've seen so many teams going there against Rangers and Celtic, and I mean Aberdeen did it for numerous years. Yeah. Okay, the last one they put up a better show, but even big players, you know, go to that arena and just freeze.
Don't know if you've noticed, Ruffy, it doesn't matter where anybody is now, even if they're in their car. You know, we're catching them everywhere now. You know, gone are the days of the normal phone in. We're just getting them everywhere when they're going shopping.
I noticed that, but it's raining, so obviously he was doing an interview in Motherwell, wasn't it? Always rains in Motherwell. No, listen, you can see how confident the fans are. They've had a great start. Yeah. Let's not kid ourselves on. I wasn't too sure, as I said, but fair play to them. They've had some fantastic results. But as Ruffy said, it's a different ball game when you go to a bigger stadium. The pitch is massive. Yeah. They're used to playing on a tighter surface. So
well, can I pick up on that point then? If it's a different game, it may well be for Motherwell because some of the players will not have sampled you know what's at stake. I don't see that for the Hibs Celtic game. He's got Neil Lennon's got a group full of players who are all well used to it. They've beaten Rangers in a Scottish Cup final. He's got a mentality that he's not even tolerating draws or, you know, a good performance against Aberdeen, but he's having none of it.
No, I like the way he goes about his job. It's another game, 12:15 kick-off. I think Hibs, with Celtic playing on a Wednesday night, tiredness travelling. I know it's only a couple of hours in a plane, but I would guess they're going to do quite a lot of running tonight, Celtic. So I think Hibs have got a chance to get through. Again, it's a tight one. It's a hard one to call. Celtic are favourites. They are the strongest and best team, but I seen Neil Lennon made that comment. We need to make the most of it. And Saturday in Celtic, some of their main players might be tired, so they've got to be right at it. And I'd guess that he's not been happy for the result they had at the weekend against Aberdeen. So I think you'll see Hibs coming out and going for Celtic.
And dare I suggest it, Ruffy, I think he needs to see more from Stokes.
Yeah, well, I said that, I think it was last year, I said when he left, you know, the first time I thought I wasn't impressed with, you know, his consistency level. You know, yeah, he'd be turning it on, and then lo and behold, he comes into the final and has an absolute screamer. You know, he was fantastic. So yeah, he's a big player. He's another player in the Hibs dressing room. I keep repeating myself, when you get to semi-finals and finals and you're sitting in a dressing room, you're looking about and you're looking at guys who are match winners. You know,
they've got a few.
He's certainly a match winner. You know, if he feels like it on the day, he's got that ability in the box, quick feet to score wonderful goals.
Okay, coming up after the break, we're going to hear from Martin Canning. We'll also hear from the new Falkirk assistant manager, Jimmy Nicholl. He's been talking about that link with the Northern Ireland boss, Michael O'Neill, and the Scotland job. We'll get Barry's take on that as well. And we'll also look at that big double header coming up for Scotland's women over the next 4 or 5 days. We'll talk about that as well. no catching out. Barry's back on for him after a nightmare 2 questions there. Had he gone from the show with nothing right, Ruffy, it would have just been a disaster after such a great week last week in the quiz.
Yeah, we'd have to post something that something's the matter with him.
And we'd do it. Okay, a couple of things I want to get your thoughts on. Before we hear from Jimmy Nicholl, Alex McLeish has come out in the last few days and said, you know, I'd be happy to take another stint as Scotland manager. On social media, you know, at times
I don't look at social
media. No, I know you. I know you don't. But I must just relay to you: there's been a real, I don't know. He's divided a few people. Some people think, oh well, okay, but I think the majority are thinking, no way. The circumstances of your departure, even though Gordon Smith said to his Ruffy that the money that he was on at Scotland and the offer that came from Birmingham, you know, everybody you know, who's ever been in a job would have jumped at it. You can't fault him for it.
That's the matter now with an international job. Well, with us, as far as it's concerned, the people we're going for, people have still got something to offer at club level. No, and if you give them the job, there's every chance that they are going to go back to clubs. You know, that's why I'm saying with a Scotland job, it should maybe somebody coming to the end of their career, somebody who's done their bit at club level and obviously done a bit European level or whatever, and somebody with a big bit of respect that the players can, you know, look at them and say, look, you've done it, sort of a thing. But no, I think if you give it to somebody who still wants to go into club football, you've got to expect they're going to go.
Yeah, well, that would rule out the Northern Ireland boss, Michael O'Neill, because speaking yesterday, the new Falkirk assistant manager, Jimmy Nicholl, said, you know, without being disrespectful, Scotland job's not really what Michael will be looking at.
Well, again, you just say you got to watch it. You're not being disrespectful to the Scotland position, you know. But well, why would he? You know, so he's got so much to look forward to. And for me, he's clever enough. He knows it. If he manages to get through his 2 games and takes Northern Ireland the World Cup, his next big decision for me will be if he manages to do it, whether he's going to be there to take him the World Cup.
Yeah, I mean, 2 games away from taking Northern Ireland to a World Cup finals, which would be absolutely sensational.
Oh, he's done an unbelievable job. I've seen them, quite a few people mention him, and I'm saying what Jimmy said there, Jimmy Nicholl. I think he'll be looking at Premier League down in England, because he's done a fantastic job there. I don't think he'll look to. I can't see it happening. I don't know why. He's done what he's had to do for me, Northern Ireland. He took them to the Euros, which nobody expected. He's 2 games away. I think they've got a great chance of getting to the World Cup because they're a decent team, Northern Ireland. So if he takes them there, I think he'll have a pick his jobs.
Yeah, I mean, he could have a big one. I mean, more often than not, you'd say to yourself, Ruffy, maybe a championship, as Barry said, maybe at the bottom end of the Premier League. Am I being unkind to him?
No, I think a Leicester, you know, something like that. But it means he'd have to wait until a job came along. But certainly, again, you know, if he's got a CV, what we expect him to have, you know, any of the kind of jobs come up, you would get an interview anyway, and then the owners would have to make up their mind.
Yeah.
That's why when I went for David Moyes, I think Davy's at a stage now, his career, he's already had, you know, the Man United experience, he's had the Spanish experience, he's had the Sunderland experience of people behind the scenes dictating where he goes, and I think now is the perfect time to say, well, I've had all that, why do I want all that hassle? You know, I don't think money would be an object. I think it would be an ambition of anybody to manage the Scotland team. Our
problem is the 4 candidates all come with baggage. You know, Alex decided to leave the Scotland job, which doesn't sit well with a number of Tartan Army, but at the end of the day, Stuart Regan and the board have to look and say, okay, who's the best man available and what are his plans? You know, Ruffy's choice is David Moyes. David Moyes, for me personally, I think David Moyes would have to be convinced to take the job with a hefty bit of money, just basically because I think David still hankers for a club job. He's said it, he's gone on record. You're then looking at Malky Mackay, 1 game in charge, but with a job to do. So that for me rules him out. And then a Paul Lambert, which was my choice on the basis that I think he's got a good back catalogue. There's been a couple of jobs that haven't quite gone according to plan, but that's the nature of any international manager.
That was my choice, Paul Lambert. I don't know whether Lambo's still got ambition work at club level, I still think he sees he's got unfinished business. Who knows? Who knows what the SFA think? They could be totally going down a different route.
Yeah.
I don't know. I just can't. I can't fathom what way they're going to go. Honestly, don't know.
I hope it's not down a foreign route, and I'm not being xenophobic here. I hope it's not down a foreign route where someone has to come in and take us down a road we don't want to go.
I think I'm a big believer in, to manage a national team, you've got to be Scottish. I think that's what's happened. We've tried it before, it wasn't successful. Other countries have tried it and they have been successful, to be fair to them, but I think we've got to go for a Scottish manager who knows the ins and outs, what it's all about up here.
Yeah, just on that point, was there ever a moment when you were sitting in the dressing room with Bertie as manager where you were thinking, where are we going here?
Well, we were okay because we had Tommy Burns there.
Yeah.
I don't even think TB knew what he was saying. But he was a big help, Tommy Burns, to be fair. Bertie, he's a nice guy, but they just don't get the Scottish mentality. We've got a total different way of doing things up here. So, no, for me, the national manager has got to be Scottish.
Yeah,
it's got to be.
I've got to share this with you. It would be remiss of me not to share it with you. But Tam was great for a wind up, and he was telling us a story when obviously Walter and Ali get the call to go to Rangers. So he just basically called the two of them and said, "Look, we're a team at Scotland. I expect you're going to call me soon for the big move to Ibrox. So I'm here. What's happened is, have you forgotten my number?"
Brilliant.
And I think the two of them were absolutely Polacks. Robbie, when you consider him.
He was great fun, TB. I love working with him.
Yeah.
I didn't really know him. I just know him, like, what he'd done in football-wise and management, but got to know him when I was in the Scotland setup, and he was great. Some wind-ups, so obviously the Rangers-Celtic thing, he was great at things like that. I can't repeat on here what he used to say and what I used to say back to him, but good fun.
Yeah, absolutely. One of those characters, just greatly missed by all. Let's switch our attention to Hamilton, because it's been a traumatic 7 days in the Lanarkshire club's history because of this investigation into the fraud, which they reckon Hamilton Accies are $750,000 plus down because of this fraudulent act, which has emptied the bank account. Some of the directors have put money in, which Martin Canning, the Hamilton boss, has thanked the directors because it has managed to keep the players' minds focused on the job of getting points. I think the message from Hamilton Accies is it's business as usual.
And it's something I'm gutted for the club. The footballing side, hopefully it's not going to have an effect on, but when you look at the club and how hard the guys have worked behind the scenes to build this club from where they took it over 14 years ago, for in one fell swoop, if you like, to have somebody come in and do that to your business isn't nice. And like you say, you hear about it happening and you think it will never happen this close to home, but it has, and it's a time now for everybody to stick together, work together, and obviously on the pitch we need to try and get results.
Yeah, I mean, that's a body blow at the best of times. To their credit, Hamilton Accies have provided the blueprint that a number of clubs have tried to copy now, which is, rear your own, sell them on, keep the club going, and don't get delusions of grandeur with the way you're running the club.
No, I think you've hit it in the head, Peter. Anytime you speak to anybody for Hamilton, they've got a blueprint and they don't budge from it. They keep bringing the boys through for the academy, and 9 times out of 10 most of these boys mature into really good players. That's why they get a move, and that's why the club is stable, because they get good money. You don't see any Hamilton Accies young boy going down south and Hamilton don't get a good fee. You don't see many haggling about it. You usually get a right good sum of money, and that's the way the club has operated, and it is a shame that something like that has happened. Yep, absolutely. Okay, just before we go, big double header coming up, Ruffy, for the Scotland women's team. Shelley Kerr will really have to get her teeth into it now. We're going to get a real measure of how they're going to play. It's Belarus against Scotland before Albania 5 days later. So
we want them obviously to get a good start.
Yeah, the women's football's not any different for us. They want to get to big finals, and as I said earlier, when you get to big finals, you become a better player, and that's the same with the women's football as well. They'll go along there, they'll feel that some of the results I've had, they're on the up, and if they get favourable draws, then they've got a chance of getting there.
Yep, absolutely. Just as long as they come up against the goalkeeper from Kazigurt, I think they've won a watched because she could win our monthly award as the worst goalkeeper of all time, Ruffy.
Yeah, but I mean, let's not knock goalkeepers. I mean, she's doing her best.
Yeah.
Just wasn't good enough.
Yeah, absolutely, at the time. So good luck to Shelley Kerr and all the girls out there. Of course, Leanne Crichton, our reporter, and of course Glasgow City midfielder is out there with the Scotland squad. We wish the girls the best of luck with that match. Great on a Wednesday to have Barry in with us. Always good for a wee bit of banter, opinion, and of course nostalgic, emotional for Ruffy and myself. We haven't seen that lumberjack shirt from 1980 in such a long time, but he's brought it back in, and you never know, in Lanarkshire that could really catch on, by the way. Who knows? From Ruffy, me and the lumberjack, thanks for watching. Good night.